Hello, everybody. Can you hear me okay?
Yes.
All right. So I'd like to thank Ona for having us here. She and I actually went to high school together, and Joe, but at different times, different decades. So thank you, Ona, for having us. Joe and I have been working on the Salem Sketches program for quite a bit of time now. I'd just like to see a show of hands. Does anybody know or have seen a Salem sketch? Great, great. Just two people. That's why we're here, is to be able to share these stories with you. So they started because Joe is one of the founders of the Salem Film Festival. Who's been to the Salem Film Festival? Okay, great. So at the beginning of the Salem Film Festival, let me just back up a little. Salem Film Fest. It's not festival, it's fest. Salem Film Fest. And so when you're online and you're searching for it, it's salemfilmfest.com. So in the back there's the program sheet for this year. And there's 38 films, I believe.
I think 37 features and over 70 films total with shots.
Right. So before each one of those films is typically like a little, other festivals will have like a little bumper that says, welcome to this festival. But we decided to put together tailor-made documentaries about the community, which is Salem, but now it's broadened out to Peabody, Beverly, and we just keep trying to find stories outside of Salem. But Salem is really kind of like the anchor. And so since 2013, we have about 64 sketches that have been made about the community, and they play before each film within the festival. All right. So I'd just like to show one or two or three, and then we'll get back into maybe some questions and go from there. We'll start with 2013. Yeah, we'll get the sound all.
The sound.
Yeah, let's see. Click in there too. Sorry. No sound yet. It's okay.
It is.
So while Ona's, oh, there we go.
Slide the slider.
There you go. It's okay. We'll just keep going forward. I forgot to mention that the Salem sketches here, we use local musicians as well for the soundtracks. So we'll. Oh no. Is there any more volume?
Easy.
Does anyone know how to tango? Does it
For something more.
Yeah, documentary.
Yeah. Story.
Let this one happen. I'll let you look for it while I talk a little bit. It's the same file, just scroll forward. I don't know, is there any way to get rid of the lower bar?
I'm not sure. I thought we did that yesterday just by clicking in the middle.
Yeah.
I used to have snow.
Yeah.
No place like.
Yeah, well, back when we had snowstorms, right?
Yeah.
We have snowstorms now, but they're quick, and then they melt the next day. Is that me? I'm just going to turn that off, and I'll talk into this. Okay. So that was the first year, and Joe and I came up with the idea to make these little vignettes, and we really just had a few days before the film festival started, so we had to keep it very simple. Just spend one day on a concept of like, okay, well, what's Salem like from early morning to evening? So that's, we just wake up at before the sunrise and just follow the day. But now what Joe's going to look for is something a little bit more, I suppose, like more interview-driven, personal stories from people within the community. So we'll take a look at something there.
The history of the store is that in 1974, still the present owner, Ross Hallinan, got out of graduate school, opened the store around the corner on Lafayette Street. And then in '89, we moved to this location. One of the neat things about the store is we've always had a wall of rare records, and we just call it the wall. It's almost like a vinyl museum. So in the history of the store, this painting was in the original store. And this still gets lots of attention. The arms are around different, musicians, Charlie Parker, Duke Ellington, Billie Holiday. But it used to scare the wits out of little kids. We continue to sell records, and of course every once in a while records are going to die. This is like, 87, 88, 89. And of course we just sold records through the 90s, and of course the big thing in the last 5 to 7 years has been the vinyl revival.
There's so much you miss when you put everything on a digital format. That's why people were going back to the records, is because they get the warmth and the feeling. You want to connect emotionally with what's going on. It's not just an intellectual thing.
For a while, record collecting was the domain of kind of an older crowd of mainly guys, and now it's kind of gender neutral. There's a lot of female record collectors and a lot of younger people, and so it's neat. We still enjoy what we're doing, so that's kind of what it's all about.
That set of filmmakers, they lived in Boston at the time when they were making it, so we oftentimes invite filmmakers into Salem, put them up, and see what they can come up with. But now they live in Salem. Okay. So looks like that's the end of 2013. Okay. Oh, here, let's watch this one. So this one that we're going to watch is sometimes the festival will come up and we're behind schedule and we really need to make some sketches, but we don't have enough time. So one particular year, Joe said, well, I got all this video footage from a film that I called, was Which City, which is in the Noble Net system here. We've got all this material, but we didn't use half of the images, so let's go ahead and cut something together. So this year we did the same thing with his Leather Soul project. So the new sketches that are out, we have 10 sketches this year. And 3 of those sketches are from the archives of Joe's library. And it's just re-edited in ways that were not used in the original story. So here's one from which city? 92. Yeah, 1992. Yeah, they end up being a real treat when you go back into your old archives to see what you have. And what else? Yeah, let's scroll forward and see what we got. Yeah, keep going. Sure.
Almost in Beverly this next one.
That's right. We have yet to enter Beverly and make a story here, so we're open to suggestions, but as Joe said, this is almost in Beverly.
This is as close as we can.
Yeah.
Clean intermittent controls and switches, cleans the lighting, lift and tune, and replace 3-panel bulbs. So it's 8856. Started to sell stair equipment, but I didn't want to do that. Fixing stuff is my specialty. It's just a creative outlet. It's like a Sherlock Holmes in a way, you know. One thing leads to another. A clue. All these component things really became popular in the late 70s. It's kind of getting rediscovered by, I think, their grandchildren. They see something they've never seen before. Like those things called silver-faced. Those were made in the 70s, and the people like that look. It's connected with the sound. It gives them like that retro feeling. It was about $400 or $500 new, and it's probably about $800 now. You can't get them for one, and there's only so many of them made. I think everything in this modern world, somebody designs something because they think that's the way it should be. But all these the stereo equipment, people can mix and match, and they can do whatever they want. Some of these things are stunning, you know, the way the wood is made. They're almost works of art. You put 5% in there. I've never seen one of these before. It's crazy. That's the Air Force. I used to fix the radios on the F-4 fighter jets. I worked for Tech Hi-Fi, first day of work, they gave me a pound of pot. Most of the people who worked there were just extraordinarily intelligent people. I was incredibly lucky. They gave me a skill that I could go to any city in the country and just be working the next day. The worst thing about business is to have someone bring something back because they pay you money, they're so excited to have it, and then it doesn't work. They come back and they try to subdue their anger. The problem with this is it just puts the record on, it doesn't play, it just keeps rejecting it. Isn't it beautiful? The way it plays on 145s, these really are labors of love. Fix these things into sleeping, and I dream sometimes. Before I go to bed, I say, oh, that's it. And then I come in the morning, and that was it.
How many years did you have it already?
Oh, I've had this one for at least 20 years.
Kind of endearing in a way, you know. You see how intrinsically people are connected to music and memories. Sound is such an incredible thing. The dynamic range for records is like this, and the dynamic range for CDs is like this. You can see a startling amount of separation. You can literally pick out the piccolo in the third row over there. It's funny, this guy came in to buy this, and I sold about 4 other things, you know. That's business. You know, you take care of somebody, they come back.
You are fine.
No, the only person that does this. The last technician in the world. See you next year. Yep. But there was something simple. It goes back to a simpler time. Maybe some kind of remnant of a bygone era. I don't know. I expect my next building is going to be a huge building because I want to put a little museum in there for hi-fi equipment, antique stuff, and what I call gizmos, like that.
Is he still in business?
Yeah. Yep.
I heard he may soon not be, but yeah, he is now. He's right as you're going down Bridge Street.
He's on Bridge Street.
You pass over the
Yeah.
bridge
I've never seen
and
him.
just kind of past the 99 restaurant, I think it's on that same side of the street.
Yeah, thank you.
Very inconspicuous kind of place.
Very.
And that's a lot of what we try to do with these things is try and find places you might pass but not know what's going on there, and just kind of dig into sort of hidden stories that are here.
To do the Anchor restaurant?
That would be a good one, yeah. We actually have talked about doing like a lobster kind of story and maybe connecting to the restaurant. That would be a good one too. So.
Let's see what else we got here. Maybe quit out of. Okay. Oh,
The animal rehab.
Raccoons, when they come in with their eyes closed, when they come in that young, they do bond for probably about 15 weeks. So when we do handle them quite a bit, they begin to think that you are their parent. We're going to be going to a farm in Peabody, and that's where our pre-release cages are located. And you'll see the raccoons that we're going to get and release are very, very strong. Once they are put out into the pre-release caging, we tend to only visit that pre-release cage once or once every 2 days. Hi, babies! These are raccoons that have been here for about 2 months now. We want to bulk them up because, again, they're going to lose 50% of their body weight over the winter. They do recognize me, but they are getting their wildness into them, and that's what we want. That's the goal. She's got her ears back, so she's not happy with us. You are strong. You're going to be a project. She is a little small, huh? As you can see, it's not an easy thing to do. Believe it or not, this is what I would like them to do. Because I don't want them going near humans after they're released. The definition of rehabilitation basically is that the animal can go out and survive without human aid or substance. If the animal cannot do that, unfortunately, I only have one other choice. by the state is to euthanize. Follow me. One of my favorite releasing areas because it's got water and it's secluded. So 1, 2, 3, 4, 5. They're having a blast. Listen, you put in all the work. This is what I wait for. This is like my reward for all the work. What happens is, when you get calls from these guys in the attics and stuff, if you can wait it out, they'll just eventually come out of the attic space and they'll go their way. And then you block your hole up and be done with it.
Sorry. What did I do?
Well, cue it back up, and then I'll just say something real quick. So, if I were to pair that film, say we made that film this year, we have to then go ahead and say, okay, well, which feature film would that go before? So that's part of the process too. We make all these sketches, we get them done about 2 or 3 weeks before the festival begins. Then we look through the lineup, what's playing this year, and then we try and pair them as best as possible. So there's a little bit of thought that goes in there. So maybe I might put that one with Buddy. And Buddy is 6 owners share the stories of their connections with their guide dogs, exploring what an intimate bond of loyalty, dedication, and love with animal means to them. So sometimes it works really well, and sometimes it just adds a nice contrast to the film. So here's one about the Essex Street Cleaners. You can just start from there, it's fine.
Essex Street.
Perfect.
That has been a very long time.
Yep.
The attics and stuff, if you can wait it out, they'll just eventually come out of the attic space and they'll go their way. And then you block your hole up and be done with it.
I'm really a remnant of a former age. Nothing's changed here, including me. I'm just going to keep on keeping on here. Somebody called it a legacy business, the idea of being in a place for its historical value as much as its practical value. The Essex Cleaners here is the oldest business in downtown Salem that's still located in its original location. My first exposure to the Essex Cleaners was when I was walking with my Butchie when I was about 8 or 10 years old. My Butchie, my Polish grandmother. She walked by the back door of this place with me and said, oh, this is a Cleaners. This is like where your father works. And I said, Daddy, I'm looking in here for him. But he didn't work here. He worked at some place in Linfield. As it turned out, he wound up buying the business years later, and I spent the better part of my life here. So I started running for him in '82, and he turned it over to me in '89. At that point, dry cleaning was a thriving concern. People were wearing neckties and pleated skirts and all sorts of woolen clothes. The reason that dry cleaning became widespread is because wool is a great fabric, but it doesn't like water. You could take delicate items like this and throw them in the machine and take them out, and they don't really need that much. In the 80s, everything started to change, and business dropped off quite a bit. So now, it's really a fraction of the amount of clothes that we used to do. To hit this level is the steam. I put my foot on the vacuum and dry it. Now these are called steam puffers. So I got the pants laying here, I'm bringing the head down, I'm putting the steam at the top, I'm pressing my foot on the vacuum, I'm releasing the head. These here are called steam air forms. Press the button and this goes into a steam air cycle. Back in the 70s, we had a lot of Japanese tourists coming to Salem. Japanese people's idea of modesty is a little different than ours. So a Japanese guy might come up to the back door here and take off his pants and stand in the doorway and walk up to us. And my father would put his pants one right here and he'd put them back on and keep my explode out here. Having this space, you know, it does sort of become your clubhouse after a while. Like when I got caught up, I can do all my stretches here. You know, when you roll, you know, you can get on the bars and hang from them. I can lift myself up like this and shake it a couple of times. All the vertebrae pull right out, you know.
So we'll go into a place and spend about 3 hours, 3 to 4 hours with somebody, and just spend that time, explore their stories and their space, and then come back to our studio and edit the projects. Anybody guess how long it might take to edit something like this?
10 hours.
10 hours?
A couple of days.
Couple of days, yeah. Have we ever done one in one day? Like edit in one day? No. Usually takes 3 days. You know.
Can you show the cobbler one?
The Cobbler. Yeah. Let's watch it.
Is that one shop? Where is it?
Derby Street.
So the question was this one shop? And yes, this one's located right on Derby Street.
What street?
Derby Street in Salem. Do you know where?
New Derby.
New Derby.
New Derby, you're correct.
Sounds
Yeah.
like a central firehouse.
Yeah. The building was sold, so it's no longer under the same ownership. DeLand Lighting used to own that building, and right across this, it's on the same side as the fire station downtown. Yeah. The old post office. Yeah. So this one was very special because the filmmaker, the editor, is a drummer as well, and she worked with one of the people in the community in Salem who is a drummer. So she was working with the drummer to, I think she had the edit already kind of in place, and then, can you speak to anything about that
Yes.
process?
I mean, that was a decision once they came from the yacht, the two filmmakers who did this, and they interviewed the owner, and we had all sorts of material, and then they decided just to make it a completely visual piece, and she felt a certain percussion in the way that he worked, so she wanted a completely percussion-driven score. So she kind of cut it roughly, and then she worked with this local drummer, Leo.
Yep.
Cimitaro,
Mm-hmm.
and he created a music score for her, and then she went back and tightened it up so it hit the beats and stuff like that. But it's an interesting process sometimes. Sometimes you go in with one idea, and then when you get there, something else kind of drives you. I think that's what documentary is about a lot of times. You have an idea for a film you want to make, and you start filming it, and it starts to take you in a different direction. So. That's how this one kind of went. I think most of our pieces we sort of we have preconceived notions about what these places are, and then we get there and we meet the people, and they take on a little different life. So I think that's what's fun about documentary too. You know, you discover things along the way, and they lead you places that you wouldn't know you were going to. So.
Yeah.
So the festival itself, if you don't know it, is all documentaries, international documentaries. We have a lot of premieres from around the world, and so this little project, the sketches, gives us a sense of if you go to a screening, you can sit there and you start with like a little local story, and it kind of grounds you, and then maybe you go off into a film from Iceland or something like that. So it's kind of a nice way to connect the local community to what you're gonna see on the screen after. So.
Yeah.
Is this, I noticed that the films are being shown in all different places. Is this everywhere or just in Salem that you do this?
Just repeat the question.
The question was whether the films are being shown everywhere or just in Salem, or the
These films.
these films here.
Sketches.
Yeah, the sketches are shown before every feature, so wherever
At
they're.
Endicott College and
Yeah,
everywhere?
yeah. The festival started with Cinema Salem, and like just I think the first year was maybe 15 films, all there, and then we got involved with the PBD Essex. They started showing films, and then the National Park Service next door. And then last year was the first year we kind of stepped out of Salem. We brought some films to the Cabot. And we're going to do that again this year on Sunday of the fest, next Sunday. And we've also added a location in Peabody this year. So
Where is that?
it's the Peabody Black Box, and it's on Foster Street. Do you know where Foster Street is? If you're going, if you're heading out of Salem to Peabody, down Boston Street, and you hit the monument that's used to be right in the middle, now it's pushed off to the side. Foster Street is your left. You take a left there, and the North Shore Arc, yeah, it's in their building. They built this nice little theater in the back, so it kind of fits us really nicely. And Peabody wanted to get involved, and so we're trying to make it more of a regional festival instead of just Salem, and but growing it slowly so we can handle it. It's all 90% of the work on the festival is done by volunteers. You know, we've it's an amazing amount of hours that get put into it. We start in August looking for films, and within the last 2 months, we have people kind of working nonstop, you know, all day long on this thing. So I don't know why we do it, but we do it. Hopefully, people like it.
Mm-hmm. Right.
Any other questions, maybe?
Salem is probably the best city to start with because there's just more there, I think. I'm not sure why. Have you ever done Reds?
Yeah, actually, we do have a Reds piece. If I can find it.
We do have a Reds piece. I think that's you can just scroll real fast. Well, while we're looking for that's a good one.
Let's do it.
As we find Reds, we're gonna do one called Under the Bee, and it's the bingo.
I've been working bingo 37 years. The game starts 6:30. We've got some people that come in as early as 1:30. I have a ball doing it. We look at this not only as a fundraiser, but as a social service. It was dreamed that I was ever going to turn into a bingo nut myself. Within 2 weeks, I won $6,000. I've just been winning, and I don't know why. people, and obviously they enjoy us. Merry Christmas!
So where does this happen?
Looks like the question was, where does this happen? I think it happens all over the North Shore. There's one at Gulu Gulu now, even. But this one was St. James. Do you know St. James Church? The organization that the people who are running it in this video are no longer running it, but the church is still running it. So St. James is down on, I guess, Flint Street.
Federal, right?
Yeah.
Flint, Federal. The parking lot is down on Bridge, the lower part of Bridge. You know where the train station is in Salem? Yeah, it's right past there. That's right. Yeah. There is a sketch about the North River as well. So you can find all of these. Right now, the sketches exist on Facebook and on Vimeo. So you can go through the years past. We put most of them up. This year's sketches we'll post in a couple of months. But they're archives online, and we'll show you. We'll have it on the screen in a little bit. Yeah, a question?
When you're doing this, it's in the present, but all of these places have some history. Do you ever include anything to introduce the history first or during the sketch?
Yeah, there's a historical component to some of them,
Okay.
but usually it's more show don't tell, so you have to have either historical photographs or somebody who's physically showing you something that.
More work.
Yeah, it is a lot of work. Yeah, if you're going to do that, but it's possible.
And we try to keep them short. So.
And as Joe said, we try to keep them short. Let's see, maybe just scroll through. Oh, here's Red's. Sounds good.
What's the average length of a short?
Well, the question is, what's the average length of a Salem sketch? We always said, we started with 90 seconds. So those earlier ones that we showed that was just more music driven, those were 90 seconds. Some of these end up being usually 2.5 minutes, but sometimes they hit the 3-minute mark.
Where was this breakfast?
Reds? Where is Reds?
Oh, Reds? That
Yeah,
was Reds?
that's Reds, yeah.
On Route something or other?
Well, that's correct. There is a place there on Route 1, but this one's down in, help me out, where?
Central Street.
Yeah, Central Street.
They run by the same.
Central Street.
In Salem,
They
downtown.
run
In
by
Salem.
the same people.
Yeah, same people, yeah.
Near the walking wall.
Do you ever go to Reds?
Yeah, watch out for the cobblestones. They're treacherous over there. What else we got here? Let's scroll through.
We're getting a little further.
So somebody mentioned, can we see the cobbler pieces? Is that because you were familiar with it, or how did you know that we had a cobbler piece?
Well, I used to work at the Salem News, and I used to take my shoes there.
Oh, okay.
Get them repaired, and my husband wants his shoes shined, and I said Cabot Street or Gagnon's over in Salem.
Yep. There you go.
Do you know any place where you can just walk in and get a shoe shine?
No.
No longer.
No, I don't.
No one wants their sneakers shine.
New York. Yeah, you got to go to New York for that.
Not enough leather shoes anymore.
So this is from, and I'm looking for that too, you know.
I saw one.
Here's from 2018, 2018. Here's a couple sketches from there.
I'm just one of these citizen scientists that work with monarchwatch.org. We grow, we tag, we educate. All you have to do is plant a couple milkweed seeds. The more milkweed that is there, the better chance that they have to get all 400 to 500 eggs out of them. Maybe 2 or 3 of those when they get to a butterfly. There's tons of predators. Ladybugs love them. You will actually see yellow jackets searching underneath the leaves because they know that's where, 1, the eggs are, 2, the caterpillars are. Oh, these guys, he'll even capture the butterfly, saw its wings off and take its body. I have 4 types of milkweed in this particular yard, and I'll do spot checks every day. If I hit the first 5 plants and I don't have any eggs, I'm just going to kind of, okay, she didn't come through the yard today. If on that spot check I hit a couple, then it's an hour checking every leaf in this yard. This one with holes in it. We have an egg. Look. In 4 weeks, that butterfly will be on Mexico. When they hatch, these are about 3 days old.
Oh.
From egg to this stage is about 2.5 to 3 weeks. Always looking for food. The youngest daughter moved out a few years ago, and I needed extra grow room space. These are all freshly cleaned and fed this morning. I layer it. It's like lasagna. Caterpillar lasagna. I've got about 600 or 700 in here. Here's where most of my chrysalis are penned. And this is where I have them ready to pupate. So this one fell. I have him saved from the garbage pit. Now he might have a misshapen wing because he did fall while he was soft and I didn't catch him. But we'll see. One wing's perfect and one wing has a little bit of a dent at the top. I can trim the other wing to make it more symmetric. I mean, there's one out there right now that's flying around fine. And what's really cool is the chrysalis. The chrysalis turns clear. Up until the day before, it's a green. So you can start seeing the wings, but it's still green. This one's just come out in the past 10 minutes. It's a boy. You can see the dot on that one wing. It's a scent patch. It has pheromones in it. This generation, born, after the 1st or 2nd week of August, they come out, instead of wanting to mate, they have this drive to just fly southwest. They'll fly, 1,000 feet up in the air to catch a thermal, and they'll just soar. And I had one of mine actually was recovered in Mexico. So that's 2,800 miles.
Just as an aside, in Derry, New Hampshire, the school science project, and they've been doing this for several years, the 2nd graders catch the monarchs as they travel from the north to Mexico, and the little kids are able to pinch the wings and tag them, and they record how many they tag.
Yeah. So the music for this one was composed for the film as well by local musicians in 2 parts. So what else we got? Now let's scroll forward. Yeah, let's watch that. Yeah, somebody was talking about this. This is a sketch that took place in Hamilton. So we gotta hit the space bar maybe. There we go. Uh-huh. Yeah.
Equine Rescue Network. We are based out of Oxford, Ipswich, and Hamilton. Today we're in the Hamilton barn. We rescue horses and donkeys from the kill pens down in Texas and Louisiana. The donkey hide is worth its weight in gold, literally. In China, they melt it down and they make tonics and facial cream for women. There are some horses that get put onto boats and planes and taken to Japan. They're eaten like sushi. You can tell when the donkeys and the horses have gotten all the way down to the kill pens. When they first come in and they're huddled together and they run right to the corner and they're like, ah! You have to be a combination of being patient and also being alpha at the same time because kicking is not allowed. Ginger Snap was rescued from an auction. She's still got quite a fight left in her because she is smart like a donkey, fast like a horse. Worst kind. This is the life of the slaughter horses. They put 37 horses stuffed in a Mack truck on their way to Mexico, and the driver fell asleep, rolled the truck. 19 horses died, and the remaining horses we rescued. There was a lot of stitches and a lot of vet visits, but Crash had a broken pelvis, and she's not rideable.
After all the healing takes place, the muscles are still tight, because muscles will tighten up around an injury. So the injury...
Doolin and I rescued him. He came in with 14 other donkeys, so he was 15. It was good to have Doolin in the pack because every other donkeys were like depressed, but Doolin was like, she has got great guys. We have got to go talk to her. And he convinced everybody else that it was okay to eat out of our hands. So once a donkey starts eating out of your hands, you got it. However, Doolin, he's the first one to greet everybody, but he does not want to have a job. When you do things like take him for a walk or trim his feet, he gets very ornery.
We don't have that around here.
Doolin, stop it, stop it. You put up, good boy. The more friends we win with him, the better donkey he'll be. Good boy, Doolin. Can we pick up his foot? What a nice fella he is. What a good boy. Really, there's a lot of people that don't want to recognize that horses are going to slaughter. I try to pull them out and say, you know what, it's a really dark world, but the other side, when you rescue them, becomes really sunny. And then all of a sudden, like, out of the blue, you'll be like, that donkey has a sense of humor.
This one was really enjoyable because we went there, it was cold, it was, the donkeys and the horses were grumpy, and the people who were organizing this this rescue facility in Hamilton, you know, they wanted to show off the animals. And the animals have amazing behavior, not personality, but animal personality, right? But they were just grumpy. And so when I was videotaping, it wasn't going exactly the way everybody wanted it. So at a certain point, I'm just like, this is wonderful. Yes, Doolin, keep kicking, you know. The other horse, just keep running away. Because the sports masseuse was giving the horse a massage, but the horse wanted to go get some food. So it's like, you know, this makes for an interesting story. Has anybody been to Steve's Grocery?
Oh, yeah. Of course.
All right, here we go. Let's go together. Yeah, this is historical to answer your question.
One of my cousins asked my grandfather why he went to the grocery business. He goes, I got 8 kids. If they don't show up, we can eat it. I have to close
tonight. Tonight's my long day. 11 o'clock tonight. I take a nap in the afternoon now. I like it best in the morning. So what you think of that game? All these guys, they come in and they'll stay there and they'll, you know, chew the fat with you a little bit. It's nice because you're friendly with them. The store is named after my grandfather. Everyone thinks it's named after him, but it's not. It's named after his father, actually.
My father had a little store. And when I come back from World War II, my father said, if you guys don't take the store over, I'm going to close it. The same day that I come home from the service, this all took place. Not down, this old broken down building. 1959, we built this building.
Most grocery stores, they back up to a dock. But this building, the pallets won't fit on the elevator. So it's all gonna go in the street. Get separated and brought in the store.
If you wrap it, package it, stack it now. It's all about the space. Go and look at the stuff that's in that little case. There's a lot of items.
We go through at least 30 pounds of cheese a day.
Something else?
A half a pound of cooked salami.
Everything moves really good here. We cook our own roast beef, we cook our own turkey.
Then we have the fresh bread. Small amounts, quickly, so it stays hot. We put it right on the cash register. My cousin Steve, he's the meat guy. A lot of the stores now, they buy the stuff prepackaged, but we don't do that. Everything's hand cut.
I came out of the army. I just wanted to hang around and have a good time. I went to cut the school and then came to stage. I feel better when I come to work. My aches and pains go away.
This business, it grows with you.
Just fit into it. And I was like in a comfortable shoe.
You're gonna like it. And I loved it.
Then where's Steve's? On Riley Plaza.
Steve's is located at Riley Plaza, downtown Salem, by the post office. You know the main post office down there? You can't miss it. Big neon sign if you're going at night. Yeah. Steve's dad, who was interviewed here with the Walker, he just passed away. Yeah. So.
Is that an Italian family or what?
I believe.
Yeah, I grew up in that neighborhood. It's an Italian neighborhood for a lot of years. It's changed now, but
High Street.
yeah, the High Street neighborhood, and High Street, Endicott, Prescott. So the area to the left of the post office if you're downtown Salem, and so Steve's was and is still got an Italian connection, and that neighborhood had a lot of little stores like that back in the day, and that's the last one left.
So we only have 5 minutes left.
Yeah, so we just talk about the...
Yeah. Want to bring it up? So we only have about 5 minutes left, so I think we've seen a lot of sketches to digest. We're going to just go ahead and look at quickly the website for the Salem Film Fest. Here it is. It's called salemfilmfest.com. And as Joe clicks through things, I'll talk about it. So there's tabs that called Festival Program and Attend. Under Festival Program, there's Films, and you can go through and you see a thumbnail that interests you, you can go ahead and click on it and it'll have a description, and you can also watch the trailer. So there's Buddy, click on Buddy, and then in the lower right-hand corner, there's a little red tab on the image, and it says "Watch Trailer." And also, there's a thing for buy tickets as well.
It's playing at the Cabot.
Yep, this one's the reason why I chose it is because it's playing at the Cabot. So we do have a few films that are playing at the Cabot this year, which is this weekend. So, and then there's the trailer. Yes, question. Go ahead.
Me? Oh,
yes.
Sorry.
No.
Salem and witchcraft. Do you have anything on the witches?
Not yet. Not yet. It's a topic that is heavily covered. So we're still looking for that right angle. Yes.
When I saw the festival, I made sure that there would be no witchcraft connection to the festival because it's so done everywhere, and I wanted to show a different side of Salem. And the idea of an international film festival is kind of reaching back to Salem when it established trade with the Far East, and let's look at the city as something different than what the stereotypical look at Salem is. So we've kind of avoided that, but it's not to say there might be an interesting sketch with somebody that's got a connection to that. We haven't really found that angle yet.
Well, however, there is a film this year called Hail Satan with a question mark at the end, and that's about the Satan church, Satanist church, Satanic Temple. So that's playing at the Cabot as well. And here is again the long and leans for this year's film festival. Film Fest is located on the table over there. If you see an asterisk next to something, that's because the filmmaker will be here. We get the filmmakers in, and they're here to meet the community. And then it'll say where it's playing. All right. So, if there's any other questions, I think that will. Yes.
Do the film prices vary by film, or is it aside from the bulk ticket, are each of the films the same price? Because I noticed, I was looking up one, and it was $18 for the ticket, $11 for seniors, and every ticket, whether purchased online or on site, had a $1 access charge.
It wouldn't be 18, it'd be 13. The top price is 13. And the reason the charge is there is because when you work with a website that sells the tickets, we have to pay them an extra buck for every ticket that we do.
Why can't they just say 14 instead of throwing the extra $1?
Because of the way the site works, you know, it just adds. There's nothing you can do about it. It's not bad. I mean, a lot of festivals will charge you like $2.50 per ticket and stuff. So we've tried to keep it as just what our charge is. We're not kind of jacking it up. But there's also a lot of free events. There's a ton of free. You know, every morning we have like Saturday and Sunday morning we have blocks of short films, and those are free. So you can come and do that. I think it's 10 o'clock each day at the National Park Service and in Peabody. And then we have some film contests for high school students, college students, and various other stuff like that. So there's plenty to do for free also.
Yeah, I think the Massachusetts is a program that we have. So we have filmmakers that are there as a panel discussion, and they're presenting works in progress. So they present their films that are being made right now to the public. And then there's a jury that says, okay, well, we're going to give you some financial support. So there's that. And I believe that's at the PEM?
You're talking about
Massachusetts, yeah.
No, it's at SATV.
Oh, it's at SATV this year, which is the like BevCam.
Derby Street,
yeah, but on Derby Street. All right, gang. Well, we'll be here for a few more minutes, but thank you very much for really filling the house.